West Virginia might have their quarterback of the future. He's a true freshman named Scotty Fox. This is the Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. From pregame to postgame coverage and breaking news, we've got you covered. Let's go. Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 67 of Mountaineer Moment, your source for West Virginia football and basketball. And this time, we're talking about a special young talented quarterback named Scotty Fox Jr., who just led the Mountaineers to victory over the Houston Cougars on the road, the number 22 ranked team in the country, the 7-1 Houston Cougars, who now fall to 7-2 with Big 12 title aspirations and college football playoff aspirations that are now out the window, thanks to this true freshman, Scotty Fox, in his third career start, getting his first career victory for the Mountaineers, who hadn't won a game in 7 weeks, 49 days, but who's counting? But that streak is no more. Hopefully they're starting a new one behind this freshman sensation. And, man, I tell you, it feels good. And this episode, we're going to get a little ahead of ourselves and think about, all right, well, do we really have a quarterback in this kid? Do we really have someone that we can bank on for next year and the year after that and the year after that? Obviously, in the transfer portal age, you just never know how things are going to shake out, but it's fun to pretend like we know how it's going to shake out. So that's what we're going to do on this episode of Mountaineer Moment, available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Hit that subscribe button for us. Help me help you. And, you'll be in the know, and we have new content coming. Again, this is a podcast covering West Virginia football and basketball. And as the calendar turns to November, obviously November 1st today, and basketball season is here. And super excited to be covering the Mountaineer basketball program this year, so be on the lookout for episodes covering them. They got a game upcoming with Mount St. Mary's on Tuesday from the Hope Coliseum at 7 o'clock, tipping off on ESPN+. So we'll have you covered on that front too. But enough about basketball, right? We haven't talked about a Mountaineer football win in quite some time. And the story, again, is that West Virginia might have found themselves a quarterback. His name's Scotty Fox. He's a true freshman who we've seen a little bit this season, obviously starting the last 3 games, the last 2 games against TCU where we fell just short, and then the game against Houston. He was the only quarterback to play, and we haven't seen that in a Mountaineer game at all this season. We've just seen it the last 2 weeks. So didn't see it at all prior to Scotty, but now with Scotty at the helm, you've seen it the last 2 weeks, 2 of his 3 starts. So a lot to like. Obviously, you win. That's the big thing. But one of the things we talked about heading into this game was just this sheer thought that, okay, we've seen Scotty start 2 games. We've seen him take a notable leap from start number 1 to start number 2, threw for over 300 yards against TCU. We know the story. How is he going to play? How is he going to progress from start number 2 to start number 3? And not necessarily things that are just revolving around the box score, how many yards he threw for, how many touchdowns he threw, but just the eye test. Like, how is he going to look in his third career start? And in a 45-35 victory over Houston, a ranked team on the road, you like what you saw from the true freshman. So we'll talk about his progression from start 2 to start 3. We'll talk about the big-time plays that he made as part of this West Virginia team that was able to hold on in the fourth quarter despite Houston's efforts. And then just an overall look, again, at the box score and what he was able to do. And then a look ahead toward the future. Does he have this quarterback 1, QB1 spot on lock for the Mountaineers for this season and the seasons to come? We'll talk about that. But on the day against Houston, he completed 13 of his 22 attempts for 157 yards. Again, not the stats he put up against TCU, but he didn't have to because the Mountaineers were able to run the football for 246 yards or something like that. Dior Hubbard was big. His best game as a Mountaineer, 29 carries, over 100 yards for him. But you liked what you saw from Scotty. He got involved in the running game too. 10 carries, 65 yards, and 2 touchdowns, including a big, massive, huge touchdown run for Scotty in the fourth quarter that we're going to get to in a moment. But overall, you like what you see because he seemed comfortable too, leading the offense. You can tell he was going through his progressions well. He was kept in a pretty clean pocket, rolled out a few times, obviously, too, but no sacks on the day for Houston, which is something that we didn't think was possible just a couple weeks ago, but we've seen an offensive line that has taken some strides. We've seen an offensive line that has improved even in ability to run block and pass block. Several long runs in this one. A few deep balls where Scotty Fox had enough time from a pocket to throw a ball deep, and you just hadn't seen that a few weeks ago in the early parts of the Big 12 schedule. So that was a welcome sight, and Scotty and this offense took advantage. Offensive line played well. Now, these big plays that I want to allude to, are really the reason for that thumbnail. Like, Scotty Fox is a gamer, and he proved that in this performance against Houston, right? Houston had their sights set on a fourth quarter comeback. It was a game that was tied at halftime, but West Virginia's offense had to step up and deliver, and they did. And I'm going to give you a couple big plays that Scotty Fox made in this one that helped the Mountaineers seal the victory. So Mountaineers are up 31-28 early in the fourth quarter. They're facing a 4th down and 4 at the Houston 34-yard line. They I think he ran it. I think if I'm remembering correctly, had ran it 3 straight plays and obviously got 6 yards on that. And then it's 4th and 4. Decision time to kick a long field goal where you already made a 50-yarder, but that's only going to give you a 6-point lead. What's that really going to do for you? And obviously Rich Rod thought the same. So he sent the offense back out as a quarterback design run. And I think Scotty went untouched to the end zone for 34 yards, giving West Virginia a 10-point lead, a little breathing room with 13 minutes to play. Then West Virginia was able to get the ball back up 10, and it looked like they were going to punt it back to Houston, but there was a penalty, an offensive lineman on a Dior Hubbard trying to stretch for the first down. He picked up the first down, but it was due to a penalty from an offensive lineman pulling him across that first down, yard line to gain, and it was a penalty. So it set West Virginia back, 5-yard penalty. All right, now it's replay third down and 9. And what does Scotty Fox do? He looks left, doesn't like what he sees, looks right, and just throws it up for Jeff Weimer to haul in a 53-yard gain on 3rd and 9. So again, a clean pocket and just hit the throw of the day. The throw of the day from either team, but certainly Scotty Fox, his best pass that eventually picks up the first down on 3rd and 9 for 53, and that eventually led to Dior Hubbard running it in for his lone touchdown of the day, an 11-yard run to give West Virginia a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter. And then Houston then scored quick, but a couple other costly things from Houston was able to lead to West Virginia getting the victory, 45-35 being the final. But the ultimate question, and where we're going to end this episode, is just in relation to this quarterback situation that the Mountaineers have. And I'm not even talking about this season, because I think we've seen this season, the last 2 weeks, Scotty Fox is the guy, and we're happy about that, right? It's been, you're 3-6, right? Let's not get so ahead of ourselves. This is a 3-6 football team. But go watch old episodes here of Mountaineer Moment. We've talked about it. If West Virginia wants to end this season with anything, well, maybe it's a little bit of clarity as to the quarterback position moving ahead next season. Maybe it's a little clarity, relating to the offensive line, and you name it, every position on the field, right? And I was all for a huge proponent of playing young guys that you can just see what you got for next season. Again, I'm not saying throw in the towel. I'm not saying, but, as the weeks continue to build and you're heading into the end of the season already, I'm not exactly eager to see a senior and what they bring to the table. I've seen what the seniors on this defense have brought to the table, and we're looking at a 3-6 team, right? Let the young guys play and build yourself up toward what you're going to see in the future, what you're going to see next year. In the era of the transfer portal, we don't want to end this season, with any freshmen or any sophomores, any underclassmen saying, you know what, I really wonder what they could bring to this team next year. I want to know what they can bring to this team next year. And it starts with Scotty Fox. I know what he can bring to this team next year, and that could very well be that he's going to be the starting quarterback. So we have some answers at quarterback. which is great. I'm not sitting here saying that, if there's going to be someone that has interest in the transfer portal and coming to West Virginia that has experience, that Rich Rod's not going to entertain that. But Scotty Fox has shown that, he certainly has the potential, the skill set to be in the running for that QB1 spot come next season. So you learn that. And again, I want to see that across the board. I want to see that on the defense. I want to see that on the offensive line. I want to see that at the other positions on the football field where you have another year or 2 or 3 of eligibility remaining to your name. Let's see what those guys can do. Because for us to just learn more and watch these seniors play, and again, if a guy's earned that spot, I get that. But if it's a senior that's struggling, let's get him out of there. That's how I feel right now. Let's see what these underclassmen can do and set ourselves up for future success in 2026 and beyond. So that's just how I feel. That might be a different take than maybe you've heard elsewhere. But 3-6, let's let these young guys, let's at least have some more answers to some of these questions that might be, leading into the next season. And then if you get some answers, you know what you need in the transfer portal, you go and meet those needs. It's as simple as that. Obviously, this season that we're in right now, heading into it, everything was a question mark. You had to go get everybody. That's not going to be the case. You're going to have less guys acquired in the portal. There's still going to be a lot, certainly on defense because there's a lot of seniors over there. But you can enter next season with more clarity than you had. And again, we'll close it with talking about this quarterback in Scotty Fox. Again, there's Khalil Wilkins, who's a redshirt freshman, who's shown an ability to run the football, but I don't think there's any debate after the last 2 weeks that we've seen, the last two games that we've watched. Scotty Fox can really throw the football. And he's way ahead in terms of progression as a quarterback from where Khalil Wilkins is. He just is. And he showed an ability to run the football today. Again, a huge touchdown run for 34 yards. He ran another one in the first half, for the Mountaineers' first score. So you like what you see there. And again, we have said it 18 times on this episode and probably 80 in the previous ones. He is a true freshman. They say it on the broadcast. They keep saying it, pulling up graphics that a true freshman hasn't done this since this. And, it's the first Mountaineer true freshman to start since this time. And it's exciting. It brings a excitement to this football team that's in need of it. Am I going to, do I have a crystal ball that's going to say that first game next season, Scotty Fox is the starter? No, but his performance over the last 2 weeks has told us that he could be, right? Because we could have very well came into this end of the season, or, second half of this season, I should say, and no improvement, right? Khalil doesn't play well. Scotty doesn't play well. It's back to the drawing board. We're going to bring in 4 new quarterbacks next season, right? That's not the case. After these two games, if Scotty Fox continues to build off of this, if he's not QB1, guaranteed, he's not close. I was going to say he sure is close. What I mean to say is that he sure is in the conversation. And I don't think you're going to have a complete overhaul of several different quarterbacks coming in. It could very well be next season. We're looking at Scotty Fox and someone with experience that you bring in from the transfer portal, battling for that QB1 spot. That's what you could see. Again, I don't think Scotty Fox is going to be any less on the depth chart. I think it's going to be a battle for QB1, or it's going to be his. Now, the good news, too, to the point I was making earlier about the whole team, the good news is, you still have 3 weeks to work with. Now you're coming off, you're building confidence. My goodness. You could tell there was confidence built in the TCU game that went into the Houston game when you have a strong start and then you finish strong and win the game against a ranked opponent. No one can take that away from you. Now you have 3 weeks left to see what you got for next year, and I still think that's the point here. I still think that's the move. I still think that's the route you need to go. Figure out what you got for next year and allow Scotty to continue to build off these 2 games. And if he performs well over these next 3 games, whether it's wins or losses, but the quarterback plays well, that's exciting. That's exciting, and it's going to bode well. It's going to lead you into next season well with confidence in a quarterback that's a true freshman right now, 19 times, right? But it's good. It's a good thing to see. And with all that this team's been through, all that they've endured, all the injuries that they've had, again, the era of the transfer portal, you don't know what's going to happen, right? We hope Scotty Fox is going to be here next year. We hope Cam Vaughn's going to be here. We hope Jaheim White's going to be here next year. We hope Rodney Gallagher is going to be here next year. But we just don't know. But you can see there is talent. There is talent. There's bits and pieces on this offense that you can work with. There's talent on the defense that you can work with that you want to have come back. And then you plug and play around them. You find guys that can fit into what you're doing. And you start next season with confidence, but an understandable confidence, a warranted confidence, right? I think we came into this season with confidence that just frankly wasn't warranted because we're not that good. Hate to break it to you, right? Like, go watch the tape. This is the best this offense has looked all season long by far, dating back to week 1, right? This is the best they've looked. And it's Scotty Fox at the quarterback. So, welcome sign, telling sign, and we'll see what it lends to for next year. But this is episode 67 of Mountaineer Moment. Your source for West Virginia football and basketball, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I do believe, I haven't fully decided yet, but that next episode or two, we'll be talking about this Mountaineer basketball team ahead of their season opener against Mount St. Mary's on Tuesday night. So be sure to come back here for all the info on that. And then, of course, we'll have the post-game reaction to that Mountaineers' first game against Mount St. Mary's on Tuesday night. So, I don't know where else you'd go. Join us for the Mountaineer Moment. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. We'll see you next time.